Maybe scenes like this are new to you, not just a march, but an occupation. The so-called Capitol Hill organized protest has turned the area around Cal Anderson Park into what looks like a village, the space taken up with the goal of change.
There's such an interest in El Centro right now about, our successful occupation and tying it to what's happening on Capitol Hill.
To Estela Ortega, these scenes are not new. In fact, it is Seattle history repeating itself.
It goes, obviously, the building was occupied on October the 11th, 1972.
Ortega is the executive director of El Centro de la Raza, a nonprofit hub for Seattle's Latinx community. The building that houses their Beacon Hill headquarters did not come without a fight. It started with founder Roberto Maestas, who was teaching an English as a second language course in Seattle in the early 70s.
And the way that he had them practice their English is that he would take them to communities of color, basically, and learn about the social issues that those communities were facing.
That program was cut by the Nixon administration. Ortega says in protest, Maestas and his students occupied an abandoned school building in Beacon Hill for 3.5 months.
But it was ordinary people who were occupying this building so that they could build a sense of community.
Eventually, it was given to the people, and El Centro de la Raza was born.
I feel like that's a little bit of a way Seattle deals with things, is that they're looking for change.
Marie McCaffrey is the executive director of HistoryLink.org, a database for Washington history. She says Seattle is a city shaped by civil unrest in the name of change. Even Discovery Park, as we know it, was shaped by protest. 100 protesters occupied the former Fort Lawton in 1970, demanding the land be given back to Native people. 7 years later, Daybreak Star Indian Cultural Center was created.
Change is hard. Just in our own lives, we see it, when we kind of have to hit a wall and have something radical happen to us before we're ready to accept a different way.
And I think, I think that we have to get out of our box, if you will, and look at how we solve problems differently.
Fast forward back to 2020. CHOP is receiving both praise and condemnation, just like the El Centro occupation received in 1972. Ortega says no matter what your views are, history has taught us that now is the time to open ourselves up to understanding.
There's a beautiful saying by a Latin American philosopher said, is that in a time of crisis, that the peoples of the world must rush to get to know each other. And we are in a crisis in Seattle. And so we must rush to get to know each other.
In Seattle, Vanessa Mishanya, King 5 News.